Hi. Well, it's another beautiful day out here, and today I want to talk about another attachment. Now, why am I talking about attachments? Well, because part of your journey in waking up is to let go of attachments. Once you have realized that you are not a person, that you are a soul. And if you don't believe in souls, then you are consciousness. Where do you think that consciousness comes from? It comes from the source, where everything comes from. Okay? So the consciousness is coming through God, through God's connection to your soul, and from your soul it comes to you. And that's what allows you to think. Right? One would assume. So, anyway, why is it so hard for people to awaken? That's a good question. The reason it's hard for people to awaken is because we fear the unknown. And we fear the unknown because it's scary. It's like one of the things about being human. We fear the unknown. In fact, not just human, but, a lot of other things too. Fear the unknown. Okay? And so we retreat back to the known. And what is the known? Well, the known is that you're a person and your name is such and such and you went to such and such schools and blah, blah, blah. That's the known. Okay? And so that's what we do. We retreat to the known because we're afraid of the unknown. Why are we afraid? Because we think we're alone. That's why. Because we're still caught in the illusion of separation. That's why we fear the unknown. That's why we fear anything. Because we're caught in separation. It's an illusion. And it's not good because it leaves you open to fear. Okay? Of any kind. Now, why do we retreat to the known? Because it's the only place of safety. And that's why we go back there, okay? The unknown is something we don't know, okay? And a lot of feelings of fear and hate are because we don't know, okay? And that includes other people, okay? And, this fear and hate, which is part of the illusion of separation, is possessing you, okay? That's what emotions do. They possess you. If you're feeling an emotion, I'm not talking about love, okay? Because that's not really an emotion, okay? Emotions are almost always bad. Name a bunch of emotions, okay? And most likely it's going to be fear, uncomfortableness, irritability, embarrassment. Those are negative emotions, and the vast majority of our emotions are negative. And that's why it's so easy for us to be afraid. Jealousy, there's another negative one. Envy. Anyway, so these things that we're afraid of or fear are ruling our lives. Okay? You fear the dark? Do you fear this creepy noise at night that your house makes? Yes, you do. And you fear that someone that you don't know, once again, the unknown, will come into your house and kill your whole family, don't you? Because it's happened. Anyway, the point is that running back to the known is the wrong way to run. We should be running toward the unknown because the unknown is God. Okay? Waking up is about being able to feel God, being able to feel His love. Now, also, if you don't believe in God, it's about better and more consciousness. Your consciousness, which isn't really yours, okay? Scientists say there's a field of consciousness, which I don't really believe. Like I said, I believe the consciousness comes from your soul, which is your connection to God. But not everybody believes in souls, and I totally understand that. So, this is the major attachment that we have to get free of. This running to the known, to the person, to the history, to what you've remembered your whole life. You run back to that because you're afraid of the unknown. And what is the unknown? The unknown is a connection with God, which you have, but don't know you have. That's crazy, isn't it? You think you're alone. You think there is no God, okay, that you can have any kind of connection with because religion, I guess, okay? But there is God, okay? And you can have a connection with it. I don't know what God is, but I do know that it exists, whatever it is. I don't like to genderize God. Anyway, so this fleeing back to what we know, okay, which is fine, I guess, as long as you are not trapped by what you know, which you are trapped by it. You're trapped by your personality. You're trapped by your person. If you think you have a personality, then you think you're a certain way because of your personality, right? That's the way you think. And maybe that way isn't good, okay? Maybe that way makes you feel bad. You want to keep doing that for the rest of your life? You want to spend the whole of your life feeling bad about you, the way you do things because of your personality, which is something that was made up by man? Okay? Sorry, I was slow on those quotes. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that your personality doesn't exist. Neither does the person that you think you are. Those are constructs put into your mind by society. And that's just what it is. And if those constructs rule who you think you are, then you are going to be unhappy. Why? Because you don't know who you really are. Haven't you heard people say, I need to find myself? We all search for ourselves, don't we? Yes, we do. That's what we do. We search for ourselves and try to figure out why we do what we do, don't we? Yeah, that's right. And the reason is we don't know who we are. We think we're a person with a personality and a history. And that history and personality and person are a trap. And you've been in that trap since you reached the age of reason, whenever that is. Okay? So there's a way out of that trap. There's a way to be free of that trap, and that is to awaken. And the way to awaken is to realize that you are not that person. When I woke, I was sitting in my living room, crying, my head in my hands, feeling so depressed, feeling so unhappy because my wife had left me. But I realized there was part of me that wasn't crying, that wasn't depressed, that wasn't unhappy. And that part of me was me. Not this personality that I was or this history, but the part of me that wasn't upset, the part of me that wasn't crying, the part of me that didn't need that wife was my soul. And that's who I am. And nothing can happen to me, okay, in the way of physical violence or that's going to interrupt the flow from my soul to me with love, peace, joy, wisdom. These things come from God. And so does consciousness. You are consciousness. That is what you are. There is a part of you that isn't unhappy. There is a part of you that is conscious of you being unhappy. Okay, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but when you're really unhappy, there's a part of you that stands back and watches you be unhappy. Now, you probably haven't because maybe you're not awakened, but the point is that part of you is there, and that is who you really are. And as long as you think you're somebody else, you're going to be unhappy. And you're going to flee into the known. Now, I don't know everything. I don't know what God is. I don't know what a soul is. But I do know that this thing, this spark that keeps me alive, okay, is me. It's not something inside me. It's not something that's a different part of me. It's me. That's what awakening gives you. This knowledge that you are not what you thought you were. I know it's easy for me to say you're not what you thought you were, okay? I've said that a lot on this channel, okay? But you have to realize it. You have to recognize it on your own. There's no way that I can tell you who you are. You have to find that out for yourself by realizing that you are not the person. Anyway, so we humans, okay, have our own faults and things about us that we don't like, right? Okay? And those are attachments too. Because this body, okay, the body that I am not, I don't know if that's the best way to say it, it's going to have faults. It's going to have flaws. I mean, look at the various wrinkles on my face and my hands, okay? But it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter, okay? Is your toe a little crooked? Maybe somebody thinks it's not good enough and that's why they don't date you or whatever, okay? It doesn't matter because your body is just a vessel, okay, for you. Because that's who you are. This body is a vehicle to get you from point A, birth, to point D, B, death. So that's it. That's all it is, okay? And if we make it more than that, okay, which we do, because, we like to, look at ourselves in the mirror and say, oh, look how beautiful I am. Or whatever it is, okay? And as long as we're attached to being a person, attached to our history, attached to a time in that history, we are going to be unhappy. There's no escape. That is for sure. So, how do we not be unhappy? By accepting what is. Accepting who you are. You are a luminous being. You are made of light, as God is. If you believe that you are made of flesh, this flesh is going to wither and die. Is that what you want your destiny to be? You think your destiny might be accomplishing something. Maybe you're going to try and do something in this world to change how the world is, to make it better, okay? Which I think is great. But it's not going to make any difference because the unhappiness of not knowing who you are is going to follow you, whatever you do, whatever you accomplish. And after you accomplished it, after the first heady moments of having accomplished something pass by, you're going to feel unhappy. And you think, well, I need to accomplish something more now. Right? I need to be more fulfilled now. Okay? Which is a cyclical trap. You can't be more fulfilled. You can't accomplish any more because it doesn't matter. And if you spend your precious, precious time, so precious, this time we have, this now, trying to accomplish something that doesn't matter because the earth is going to be destroyed. All that man has made will turn to ash. That is what is going to happen. There is no way to avoid it. Maybe we'll go to Mars. Maybe we'll leave this stricken world, okay? But maybe not too. There's no way of knowing. But this world is going down. The oceans are dying. Do you realize what that means? Do you realize that there's no oceans, there's no oxygen? You feel that? That's oxygen that's making me alive. When the oceans are dead, which they're gonna be, because why? Because we don't care, that's why. And I don't mean to get off on a rant here, but that's just the way it is. Okay? Then we're not going to be able to breathe. And then we're going to have to, I don't know, wear oxygen masks with carry around oxygen. That's what we're going to have to do because that's just the way it's going to be. It's too late. We can't stop it. We have screwed this world. The temperature rising is going to suck the oxygen out of this world because it's killing the things that make the oxygen, which is tiny little creatures in the ocean, billions of them. So we know what the future is kind of going to be. It's going to be bad, okay? But we don't have to have a bad future because all we have to do is accept what is. Accept that you are not you. The you that you think you are isn't you. That's just the way it is. And as long as you cling to these things, like you, and your personality, okay, you are going to feel bad. That's just what it is. Clinging makes you feel bad. That's how it is. Anyway, we need to accept what is. Accept that we are maybe not a person. Okay? What is so great about being a person? Yet we cling to it as if it is great. Don't we? I mean, yeah, that's what we do. So, try to accept what is. Try to accept that you are not a person. Try to understand that this is a trap that you're in. Okay? And you must escape it or continue to suffer. I can't help beyond just telling you what is. That's it. I can't make you do anything. And I certainly wouldn't even try to make you do anything. Okay? This is your journey. You're the one that has to step foot on it. And you do that by accepting what is. We all have things in this life that we must do. And one of those things is accepting the isness of our own selves. And as long as we deny our own isness, we will be unhappy. I don't want anyone to be unhappy, but everyone on earth is clinging to this trap that you're in. And if you step foot on the spiritual path, you will feel better because you will be moving towards what is. And you will have a chance to experience the now, which is the greatest thing that is on this planet. Everything else just pales in comparison. There's nothing better than being in the now. Anyway, Do not run from the unknown. I know it's scary. I know it. It's very scary. And that is why many people can't wake up. I've heard that 80% of people have had some sort of spiritual experience. Okay? And then they have said, I must have been crazy. I saw a ghost, or I saw an alien, or I saw something. And then they completely forget about it. They wipe it out of their memories because it's scary to think that you're not what is. Okay? It's scary. When you experience this spiritual thing happen to you, okay, you can either embrace it, which is what I did, or you can run from it, which is what the majority of people do. And there's plenty of people out there who haven't had spiritual experiences and are just hoping to get spiritual experiences. And there's no way of knowing when you'll have your spiritual experience. But the point is, when you have it, to accept it for what it is. A lot of people don't believe in God. A lot of people think God doesn't exist. Okay? But you have to admit that we have something in us, something that makes us live. Have you ever seen someone die? I have. And something goes out of them. You can see it. And that something is their soul. It doesn't go out of them, it goes into them further, into the formless dimension. But when that body dies, and you see the soul just go, then you know that there is a soul. It's impossible not to. Because that's something that went out of their eyes. That's something that went out of their body. That was them. And I just want everyone to experience what I've experienced. I want everyone to feel the love of God. I want everyone to feel His peace, His joy, His wisdom, His creativity. Artists, have you enjoyed having creativity? Well, it came from God. And if you want more of it, you gotta wake up. I know a lot of people would disagree with me on that creativity thing, but that's what it is. Okay? That's where creativity comes out of. Look at Mozart. Mozart said he didn't know how he was writing these songs, they were just coming to him. Right? That's what he said. And they came to him so fast he didn't have time even to do anything, and he died young. But he wrote them all down, and we have them. And if you listen to them, you can tell that they are purely spiritual. And anyone else who makes music has had that moment when somehow or another something came across and a beautiful, wonderful song came out. And they were like, I don't know where that song came from, but oh my God, it's beautiful, it's wonderful. And it turned into be a hit. And they made a lot of money from it. Or an artist who just starts painting, and the next thing you know is he's got a masterpiece. He didn't know where it came from. It just happened. Why do you think it happened? Because God's creativity, which is a force. Okay? God made the world. How did He make it? With creativity. That's how. Okay? And that creativity is available to you. Not to make the world, but to make art and music. And anything else that requires that creativity. Well, I guess I've said enough about this issue. Try to remember that these attachments, like the known, are just traps. And if you're in a trap, don't you want to get out of one? Yeah? I mean, let's say you're walking through the forest and suddenly you go into a hole. You didn't know the hole was there, but it was, and now you're trapped. Don't you want to get out? Yeah, you do. You want to get somebody to come along who can help you get out. Right? And so you start screaming. Okay? And someone hears you and they come get you out. Well, your soul can't scream. It's stuck in the trap with you. Okay? It's not your soul. It's a soul. The soul. A piece of God. And if that's hard to understand, I totally understand that. But that's what it is. Just like when he impregnated Mary in the Bible, he took a piece of himself and he put it into her. That's how Jesus was born. And that's how you were born. And that's just the way it is. Yes, you have your humanness, okay? And yes, you have a name and a history, all that stuff, yeah, that's part of you, okay? But as long as you believe that that is who you are going to be unhappy, you're going to suffer. I probably said that before. Anyway, I love you all because you're me. When I look at you, I don't see you. I see your soul. Because that's what I am. I am a soul. It's not your soul, actually, but it's a soul. Okay? That's what I see when I see people. Now, plenty of people say, oh, then you're on a different dimension, blah, 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 blah. I don't know about that. But when I see people, whether it's Checkout Girl or my friend or whoever it is, I see their soul because I know that's what they truly are inside. And regardless of what they are on the outside, that's who they are. And I treat them as such. Well, I love you all. And please remember who you are and have a great life.